episode of Community Health. I'm your host, Storm Wilson, alongside Ms. Cadet and Pastor Danielle. How are you guys feeling this evening?
Good,
Doing
good, good.
exceedingly well. Doing exceedingly well. And thank you
Exceedingly
for
well.
exceedingly well. I'll put it that way. Right?
We need to bottle that and just sell it.
Life is better than anything else. So if you wake up in the morning and you are healthy, in the evening you are healthy, what else would you complain about? It's better than anything. So I'm doing well. And thank you for again hosting us tonight to discuss about things that matter about our community, things that bring uplift our community, especially the Southwest Philadelphia. We are in a time where we need to support each other, and so having this conversation it kind of makes me happy because we feel like there are people that really need this information, and we believe that the best way to do so is to be able to share what we have available to them. Thank you. I pass it over to Ms. Kelly.
Good evening, everybody. I hope we are all doing well. I'm doing great. As they say, health is wealth. So I'm glad that we are all strong and healthy and we can be here tonight. It is my hope that we can have a very fruitful discussion and share some very important information and have this conversation to help each and every one of us keep safe and healthy.
So how was from last week to now, we spoke about, winter diseases such as lack of vitamin D deficient, I should say, deficiency. We talk about the importance of getting exercise, whether indoor or outdoor. Just keep moving. How did you guys do this week with that? Did you guys move? Did you move more this week? Basically, did you move more?
Listen, I'll particularly say, even though I didn't move that much, but indoor, I do take few exercises and so forth, dance with my kids, help me move around, move the body. So
you just dance?
I just kind of dance wherever they want me to dance with them. I dance with them, right? And so my 6-year-old, soon to be 6-year-old, she always will come and interrupt me. Hey, Daddy, come on. I want to teach you new dance. So like she's excited doing that. I want to, and then we work and we move around, and whatever she learned in school, in her gym class, and so she want to come and make it practical at home. And I'm excited to support her in that. It helps me move my body, and that's right. And then most importantly, she's happy that I gave them attention as well.
Yeah, let's kids do that too. I have a 7-month-old, and woo.
Well, one thing I would say is,
as you can hear,
if you have kids in this country, you're gonna kind of exercise some kind of way, one way or the other, because these kids, they have a lot of energy and they're definitely gonna drag you into something. For me, I kind of exercise too, though not willingly or voluntarily, but I mean, during the week I had to move, and the stairs, American stairs, there's always some sort of stairs. So going up and coming down, going up and coming down, it's exercise by itself. And then, like he said, with his kids, I got my own kids too, so they definitely try to make me do some movements, which I do feel was necessary. Though the body aches comes along, especially when you don't usually do it. But so far so good. I think the week has been fruitful, and there were definitely some of what we discussed previously that has helped us during the week.
Yeah, and it's just like mindfulness. Like I go up and down the steps here, and I usually take one today, one tomorrow. I said, you know what? Go down the steps, and you got this. Come up the steps. And usually, if I'm upstairs, I try not to make any trips. So I plan going upstairs because I take everything up with me. And if I have to go down, then I plan to carry everything down. So I don't want to forget trips. But it sounds like, you know what, the extra trips are good for me. It was just a great conversation last week, and to keep in mind, we got to keep moving. So I'm glad we had that discussion last week. Ms. Kebe, what is our discussion topics for this week?
So today we're gonna be talking about measles and asthma. So we're just gonna look into it and see what it is, how we can prevent ourselves. So recently the PDPH has updated the listing of different things that they want to be looked at, because as of January 29, there have been 9 confirmed cases of measles in Philadelphia. There are other confirmed cases in other states, few other surrounding states, but because Philadelphia is home, so it's really close, and I think that's something too that we should discuss, so people be on the lookout to know that this virus is here.
Because diseases like that, people are thinking they don't exist anymore, or they are so far in between now. Because when we were kids, people got measles all the time, but now children don't really get them because they have vaccines and there's cures for that stuff. You don't get them all the time. I think it's a good conversation just to keep us aware, and just hygiene, and keep in mind we still have to not quarantine, but be careful about the germs and passing on germs, who you're touching, who you're around, what you're inhaling. Like still be mindful of that, because I think people are like, oh, COVID is over.
Yeah. When I came across the measles issue, I was like, measles, because the last time I really kind of heard about it was years ago. I know back in Africa, measles and chickenpox kind of went hand in hand. I don't know if you heard about chickenpox. So the vaccine came out, and then I felt that measles has been completely eradicated or does not exist anymore, because you don't usually hear about cases of measles. And so when I came across it, I was like, wait a minute. And then I started doing my research. I was like, oh, so this thing is still around. So I think it's a very important discussion or conversation to be held. And I hope that we can all grab something from it tonight to be able to present and prevent ourselves.
Give people symptoms to look for, because for me, I would not, unless you mention it right now, I would not be thinking measles if anything happened to my son. Just because, like you said, it's not something you hear about anymore. Like, you think it's gone. That's like hearing about somebody who has smallpox today. Like, smallpox, is that still around?
Right. So because measles affect the respiratory system too. It comes with fever, it comes with cough, dry cough, it comes with runny nose, it comes with watery eyes, sometimes red eye. But one very important symptom to watch out for is skin rashes. Yes, the red bumps on the skin. It does affect adults, but usually it affects children more.
Got you.
So, to actually confirm and be sure it is measles, it's always good to get checked from the hospital. You cannot just say, oh, okay, my child has runny nose, my child has fever, my child has a cough, now my child has rashes over the skin, so it's definitely measles. No, it's always best to go get to a health practitioner and get checked and be sure that it is actually measles.
And if you, I would like to say, if you, for whatever reason, with your insurance, and you don't have a primary pediatrician for your kids, like urgent cares are pretty inexpensive compared to going to the hospital, and they would be able to see stuff like that. Like, and every community has an urgent care, so don't neglect your child's care because you don't have insurance. So, Pastor, you're mute.
Yeah, it's muted.
You are muted.
Sorry, I missed it. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, we saw you talking. We just couldn't hear you. What were you saying?
No, it's okay. I was just trying to say that measles definitely is something that we need to watch for, especially with the kids. And the reason we need to do so is because it's also dangerous. And the earlier you detect it, the better it saves life. And the better you are able to reach out to your PCP to quickly attack it. So for those of us who have children, and not only children, but adults as well, when you see a strange thing happening to your skin, don't just conclude. It's important you reach out to your primary health care practitioner to be able to help assess your condition. And the earlier you do so, the better it helps you to curtail the disease. So don't wait until it gets worse. Don't wait until things get bad. So it's important that we take note of that we should do it sooner. When something strange is happening to you, that you are not used to, and it's happening, it's important that no matter how busy you are, I know sometimes we don't want to take off hours from the job. We want to make sure that we we say, well, it's not that serious, I will manage with it. So the better you take care of your health, the better you save time on long hospitalization, right? So let's importantly note that, especially watching with our kids. Children go to school, they mingle with their friends, and so you don't know what happens there. So one of the things that maybe we want to do is to make sure that we have thorough hygiene. Sometimes this winter, some folks, they will not want to because it's cold and so forth. Say, oh, I'll take back in the morning. It's important that people right, take care of that, make sure no matter how you feel, you rather want to make sure you're taking care of your hygiene appropriately. All right, so I wanted to throw that in to show that we are okay to go.
Okay, so I would just add, it's also when we discussed with the COVID and the flu and any other virus, it's important to stay home in other public spaces when you have these symptoms, because the mucus is airborne. It's spread through airborne, respiratory droplets, the coughs and sneezes. It can also be spread through saliva, touching contaminated surfaces. So like he said, we have to clean and pay attention to hygiene, skin to skin contacts like handshakes and hugs. I know we from Africa, we like to hug people a lot, and we like to shake hands. So also it can be spread from up through pregnancy, like a pregnant mother to the baby. It can also be spread through that means too. So we should there are vaccines for the measles. So if we have the opportunity, it's always advisable to get the vaccine. Like if you have kids, it might be something that is mandatory. I'm not too sure. Like if you're pregnant or if the child is born, they have to get the measles vaccine. But it will be wise enough to double check and just be sure that the child has been vaccinated for measles. So that they stand a better chance at not getting the virus.
Got you.
That's right. And it all boils down to everything we talk about vaccination, right? Because the good news is vaccines have been developed for this thing. They've been proven, tested, and especially for those, unlike like the COVID that people still have reservation on, the thing like the way the COVID vaccine was made quick, I don't still trust it. But measles, it was developed long time. So
and they've had a lot of trial and error. Like, I think it's I've heard conversations about people are against vaccinations, and they're saying everybody shouldn't get it. Now, if you go to a public school, it's mandatory to have it. Certain private schools. I know there's a class of people that wants to exercise their rights and not get it, but we have to keep in mind that vaccinations weren't, like people say, oh, it's just for money. There's a reason why we don't think measles exists today, because there was a period of time when it was so rampant, they had to create a vaccine for it, and they did. And the vaccine worked to the point where we don't even know it's a real thing today still.
Right.
The vaccine worked. Like I remember when I was a kid, somebody gets chicken pox every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Now, when I first came here to this country and I had to get my green card, they made me I didn't get chicken pox as a kid. So they made me get the chicken pox vaccine. So now there's not a lot of kids with chickenpox.
Right.
But it was so rampant back in the day. Like, vaccines are made to help us in our life and not to do all of that. And some of them, most of them, I should say, work really well. Again, to the point where we don't think these particular diseases doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a reason for that. So if you are skeptical about it, I would say anything you're skeptical about, especially when it comes to your children and your health, do your research on it. See what the rate of people having a side effect is. See what the rates are compared to what is the risk of catching a side effect compared to the risk of actually catching the disease itself. A lot of times the side effects don't equal to what the disease will do when it gets you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So do your research. To do the real numbers, not just, okay, a family saying, no, don't do that to your child. Not just that, but do real research. Like we literally have what I would say is a out of this world encyclopedia at our fingertip. Remember back in the day when you had to look through your encyclopedia to find answers and everybody had the same answers? Now we have the browser, you can just literally open your phone and all the answers are there. Do your research. Don't just rely on.
Yeah.
We call it in Trinidad sorry, I don't want to say it, but we call it right magic. And that's because it's passed down from generation to generation to generation. What you should be using to cure these diseases. You know, your mom go, oh, don't use that, use this, don't do this, do that. Nothing, no talk about vaccine, but that's how they had to deal with it, you know, when the vaccine wasn't available. Now we are lucky enough not to just have the vaccine, but we're in the information age where you can research it and get all the information you want on it. We should use that. That's at our disposal, and we should definitely take advantage of it.
That is so true. That is so true. I mean, like you just said, there are a lot of people who still my grandma did it this way. It's okay to follow the old trend, but I mean, if you used to walking miles a day and you have the availability of a car, why would you still choose to walk miles just because your grandma used to walk miles? Now you have a car. All you have to do is just sit down in, and now you don't even need a key for most cars. You just press the button, and you're on the way.
You don't even need to press the button. You just need to sit there.
Now they have what is it called? The Tesla that even drives itself. All you have to do is just sit there and program it and take you wherever you want to go. So technology is improving. Everything is getting better. So if I feel like if you have something like on silver platter, you better take it and make a good use of it than sitting down and be like, oh no, I'm used to struggling, I'm used to suffering, I'm used to the hard life, so no, I'm not going to go this route. I feel more comfortable staying here.
I hear you.
Yeah, but just to maybe add to what y'all are saying, especially for our community, immigrant community in special, you know how measles got negative effect on us, on children particularly. So it's important to watch for the symptoms. When you see rashes, when you see any skin change, coloring, don't say, oh, it's change of weather and so forth. You know, it's important that you set up the appointment to be able to see your doctor. That's the most important thing, to see your doctor, because when your children are sick, it will take your time. It will keep you hostage until you can get well and the whole household before they can get back on their feet. So the good news is that there are remedies to this. The treatments are available, and anyone living in the Philadelphia area, particularly not only Philadelphia, but wherever you can go and find treatment to be able to remove, to get yourself well and get back on your feet. Don't wait, get there. That's the message we bring into you, that when you see these signs, you are not well, try to see your doctor. The earlier you see your doctor, the better, or the sooner it will be good for you. In addition, It's that comes to tell us that you need to make sure you have your vaccination and you are up to date to that. So get your vaccines as soon as you can. If you have not yet, I know still there are some people that have not even taken maybe flu vaccine. Let's even leave the COVID yet, but even flu vaccine. So please make sure that you can get up-to-date vaccination for your family, for your children particularly, right? Because the reason we're emphasizing tonight on children is that children, they hardly will tell you until it really grab them and it's severe. That's when you know when they're really broken down, the immune system cannot can no longer keep the body moving active. So because of that, you want to make sure you watch your children carefully. If you see your child inactive, your activity, the activity of your child. And so when you see them inactive, the way they were behaving yesterday and the way they are behaving today, and then overactiveness. So let's look at the two content, inactive and overactiveness. Sometimes they become more active than the normal rate. So then something is going wrong. You need to check that, right? Your child have not been overactive over the past time, but then now they are getting overactive. So you need to understand that something somewhere is not right, right?
Like you said, you have to pay attention to your kids.
Yeah, pay attention to your child's, day-to-day activities, monitor their movement, the way they are talking, are they talking beyond their normal limit? Then something is not right. They are getting sick. They're telling you signs that they are getting sick. Are they just sitting quiet? They are not, are they not playing the way they used to play? Or they overreacting? So all of these encompasses the sign for our children, right? So let's keep note of that and let's help, because at the end of the day, the earlier you detect this, the better it helps the doctor to determine. But if you reach to the point where the child can no longer talk good, or sickness grab them before they run the test, and all of that, it's going to take a number of time. They got to stabilize the condition, bring the child to begin to say one or two things, especially if they can talk, or if they don't talk, they make it worse, and then you are all there, panic and so forth. It can manage the situation. So this is the moment in this season and time we're in now. I think you heard Ms. Skeba talking about the arising of measles in the Philadelphia area. So let's watch for that. Let's be careful. Let's watch carefully for that.
Guys, we got to take our break now. It's 7:30. Thank you so much for joining us for the first half of this show. Again, I'm your host, Tom Wilson. I'm alongside Ms. Kebe and Pastor Daniel.
Thank you.
This is community. I'm sorry?
I said thank you.
Oh, yes. This is Community Health. We're just having basic discussions about, stuff that's affecting our community health-wise. And, we welcome you guys to, drop us a message, leave a message, ask questions. If you ask questions on the Island Vibes, like if you see us on Facebook and you ask questions there, we'll address your questions the following week. We want to interact with you. So please, even if it's a comment, say good job. Again, I'm Storm Wilson. This is Ms. Kabir, Pastor Daniel, and we're going to take the break right now.
Thank you.
Broadcasting live from Philadelphia, Island Vibe, Philly's newest and hottest station.
You're listening to IslandVibes.net. All your hits banging right here. Philly #1 Caribbean station. Best in dancehall.
Undisputed champion. Heavyweight, world great. At the Met Gaza celebrate.
Soca.
Call the Uber. Call the Uber now. I am coming to ya.
Reggaeton.
Aún no parecen todavía. Viven en el siglo de la hombría. Que te arreglas solo para ellos. Y que para tu hombre te maquilla.
Soca.
Love in my heart. Rum in my veins. Cause I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again. I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again.
And more. IslandVibes.net.
Sabi girl no dey too like talk. Animals dey in human form. Body man nobody like walk, but you must hustle if you want job. You no finish they won't fight us. If them they run them no fit catch up. I know they form say I too righteous. No con they form say you too like us. Me no get the time for the hate and the bad energy. Got my mind on my money. Make you dance like broccoli. Steady green like broccoli. Steady on my grind, oh yeah, what they want telling me could deny my fantasy. They want to check if my tap ain't no wrong. But it they rush well, it be much. Now gotta make my tap be the rush. The kind money we touch, yeah. It they rush well, it be much. No be hype, everybody they crush. There's no darling with us. For me, Jack Bata, I dey go Ghana. You never thought you dey from papas. Which kind money we never see before? Cause hello me, got me feeling I'm the one. Ajay. Can never take my cake away. Ajay, you can't count my grace. I just did my lane. Me no get the time for the hate and the bad energy. Got my mind on my money. Make you dance like broccoli. Steady green like broccoli. Steady on my grind, oh yeah, what they want telling me could deny my fantasy. They want to check if my tap ain't no wrong. But it they rush well, it be much. Now gotta make my tap be the rush. The kind money we touch, yeah. It they rush well, it be much. No be hype, everybody they crush. There's no darling with us. Cause it they rush well, it be much. Now gotta make my tap be the rush. The kind money we touch. It they rush well, it be much. No be hype, everybody they crush. There's no darling with us. There's no darling.
We don't cast, last. Now everybody go to breakfast. Shayo. Shayo. You go bow for the result, though. Nothing to discuss, oh. Cause I did win by default and without any doubt, oh. I'm a me happy adult, oh. I no go feed the girl, is out, oh. I'm a mind that's you the talk, oh. I put my life into my job and I know I'm in trouble. She manipulate my love, oh. I know holy and I know that get both. Like the Baba Frayo, my ayo, don't cry, yo. I need it go and shadow. I need it go and shadow. I need it go and shadow. Shadow. I need it go and shadow. I need it go and shadow.
The community health. We're here with Reverend Danielle, Miss Kebe, and Storm Wilson. We're discussing some of the some health issues we're facing. Like earlier, we spoke about measles, which is, uncommon to the point where we have 8. You said the 8 sightings, or what do you call it when you see health breakouts? Like 8 breakouts? of sightings of, you know, people with measles. And we were saying how rare that is right now. And it was so rampant when we were younger. And, you know, we're just talking about things you have to look out for health-wise.
That's right. And we're talking about things that are affecting our community currently. So one of them we've been talking about is the outbreak of measles in the community. On January 29, 2024, the city of Philadelphia actually declared that there is an outbreak of measles. So there are periodic updates they gave. So if you were to check that out. So if you want to get more information about that, and just to make sure that you are not panic, you are stable, you are trying to make sure you manage the situation, the best advice is to maybe quickly call your PCP to say, hey, I'm hearing about this. Is that something, what should I do? And so forth. If you don't have much information, take a phone call, give it to your doctor, and make a phone call to your doctor rather, and just inquire about what you need to know, what you need to be aware, and so forth, because they manage your case. And probably they will ask you if you have health aligning conditions, and that way they can exactly advise you. All right. And so this program today that we are having here today is sponsored by the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. We are grateful to them for the opportunity they have given to Rising Hope for Change, and we are partnering with Island Vibe Caribbean radio station, our good friends who are making this happen. We thank them for the opportunity. So thank you so much. I wanted to throw that in before we jump the gears.
Yeah, we're at Island Vibe, we're happy to be a part of this. I think it's needed and long overdue having a platform like this to, you know, have these discussions, because we're not just going to talk about physical health. We're going to get into mental health, emotional health, all of that stuff. And it's great to have a platform to discuss those things on, especially in a friendly way. And we are not we don't work in the healthcare industry. At least I don't. Right? We are not health practitioners. So when we say maybe we do this or that, it's not like, okay, just take our word for it. We invite you and we encourage you to do your own research on these things. And that's why Pastor Daniel always say, consult your PCP.
That's right. And the reason we say that is because, like you rightly mentioned, we are not health practitioners on this platform. So we only carry out sensitization, community awareness. And what we can do is to be able to point you to the right resources. What we can do also is to be able to connect you to right areas, like showing you where you can get these vaccines. Maybe if you need direction, you can reach out to the community organization like us, Rising Up for Change. We are based in Southwest Philadelphia. If you are on the 58 block, 1628 South 58, that's our office in Philadelphia. We also have our office in Darby, Chichester Pike. So between those distances. So if you ever need support, you never need help getting information, directors, maybe you are in doubt, we may not have the answers, but what we can do is we have the right people that we can reach out to provide the right answers to you. That's why we are a community-based organization, right? We may not have all the answers available for you, but we can, we have the people available that we can reach out quickly with a phone call, with an email. We can connect you if, you know, for further clarification, information, and so forth. So our main job is to help our community bring access of information to them. When something is sparking up, like what would to break out to the to say, oh, there is measles around, be careful. That's what we're trying to make sure we let our community know, and particularly our immigrant community, that we're just concerned about work. We want to take care of bills, which is good. We don't tune in television to know what is happening around. Sometimes we don't even read the news headlines that hit your phone. So as a community-based organization, we're here to bring you this information so that you can stay on top of information, right? And you are up to date with this information. And so you are always welcome to join us and be able to get information as much as possible.
And we are glad to be here to broadcast that information to you.
Thank you for that.
Ms. Kebe, what is our next topic for this evening? Our next discussion?
So right now we're going to be discussing asthma. I guess everybody knows what asthma is or have heard about asthma, but just in case, asthma is a condition in which a person's airways becomes inflamed and it swells. It produces extra mucus, which makes it difficult to breathe. Can you see or hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And one of the reasons why we're touching this topic is there are a lot of people who live with asthma, and according to the CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, about 5.8% of children in the U.S. have asthma. The rate is more than triple in Philadelphia for children with asthma prevalence. The rate is like 21%. So
20%.
Sorry?
No, I said 21% is high.
It is high. It is high. So I think that it's important that we touch this topic and like kind of go through it to see what it really is, some of the triggers, because there are people living with asthma that might not know what triggers it or some of the triggers of it, or there are people who have people with asthma that might not know what the triggers of asthma, just to get into it a little bit, to know some of the details and what they can do to stop attacks from reoccurring frequently, and them getting help every time that they should or as often as they can.
Definitely. I'm reading here that there's 3 million people diagnosed with asthma every year.
Wow. That's a large number.
In America, not even in the world, in America. That is alarming. Like, until this discussion, I would have never guessed that. It's a very common disease.
It is.
It's a very common disease. And we all kind of know somebody with asthma, and this is how we know it's common. Everybody knows of it. And we all kind of know somebody with it, or somebody who have it mild, or, and you may know that and hear about it, and we know it's a respiratory disease, but a lot of people don't know the details of what it really is and how bad it could really be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of the warning signs of asthma will be shortness of breath, like you struggling to breathe, chest tightness or pain, wheezing. That is when like if you have kids and the kids get the common cold, you take them to their PCP to tell you how does the child breathe. They want to know, is the child wheezing? The moment you mention that the child is wheezing, they tell you bring them over. It's an emergency, because when it's not normal. So people with asthma, you will notice that they will wheeze. They will have that wheezing when they breathe, like
Yeah.
So especially in children, that is one common sign. So trouble sleeping, that can be caused by shortness of breath and wheezing. Coughing or wheezing attacks are worsened by respiratory virus, the cold and the flu. So if a person has asthma, they catch the cold or the flu, it becomes even worse.
Right. Because the cold also produces a lot of mucus in your airway.
Mm-hmm. And since the asthma already kind of blocks the airway, it even makes it worse.
Yeah. What are some of the will you say some of the symptoms to look for is wheezing, hearing somebody talk, like they're grasping for breath all the time. What are some of preventions you could do to avoid triggers?
So the first thing, if you have to prevent a trigger, you have to know what the trigger is. So there are different triggers. So you have like even indoors, like in your home, there are triggers for people with asthma. So indoor triggers could be dust.
Gotcha.
So if you have to clean, because definitely dust will form like anywhere. If you have to clean, you make sure you wear your mask, you make sure you cover up, have the right utensils to clean the dust around you so that you do not inhale the dust, because that is one huge trigger. Also, mice triggers asthma, mold, pets, the four of the people who have cats in all of that. So the four triggers asthma too. Although you have allergies, the pollens, the mold. Also, emotional stress also triggers trauma and asthma. Like intense anger, crying, even sometimes laughing can trigger asthma too. So it's like I kind of feel like it's like living on edge, you know. You indoor, you have these triggers. You go out, you have this trigger. You become extremely excited, you have triggers. You get so emotional, you want to cry, you have triggers. I mean, it's just a tough. I think it's a tough spot to be in.
With asthma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone's told me this about diabetes, and I hope it's true about asthma. And if I'm not, please correct me. And if you're listening and you know someone with asthma, you know, tell us something. Or if you're listening and you have asthma, correct us if we're wrong. I think it's almost like a friend of mine told me, like, living with diabetes is two things. You could either have it as it's a disease and you live with a disease and you're just, you know, stressed out about it all the time, making sure you don't exacerbate it, or you could accept that it's a part of your life and incorporate things in your routine that is going to help you deal with it better. For example, if you know you have diabetes, you know you're not going to eat certain things, you're going to make sure your breakfast is there on time, what you need to have in it, like that type of stuff. And if you're, you know, being triggered by stress and stuff, we got to understand that, hey, I'm a stress triggers my asthma. I'm going to keep myself stress-free, stay out of stressful situations with friends, families, anybody, period. So it becomes a way of life just to cope, deal, and minimize your disease.
That's
Yeah.
right. Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah, go.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to kind of add to what you all have said. I think Ms. Kebe just first lined it up to state that asthma is a chronic respiratory disease, right? Because it's respiratory disease that affects the lungs. And because it affects the lung or the airways that cause breathing difficulties to a person or the patient, people therefore need to be aware of some of the things that affect them. And they vary from one person to another. So common among these is that sometimes allergies, asthmatic patients need to be aware of the things that they are allergic to, so that they don't get affected. And she talked about dust. Yes, it's true. It's also important to note that sometimes, even maybe let's say you sit in the car and then you turn the air condition on and it raises it high. So the first air that comes from there, sometimes you can see even non-asthmatic patient, you can feel that sometimes it brings dust to your nostrils, right? And then you see yourself.
If you watch just that little light, you ever watch
Yes.
the atmosphere light, you see how much particles are in it.
Correct.
You know, and there's again, like Ms. Kebe said earlier, there's technology now. Like I have an air purifier in my room for my son. Like there's great air purifiers that we could, you know, employ in our homes now. There's a few things, like there's the one that has the vapors to help you breathe. Like you do what you need to do to manage your disease. Like Pastor Daniel always says, if you wait till you're really sick, it costs you more to be sick than to prevent it. The days you miss from work, your love not spending time with your loved ones, it always costs more to be sick than to prevent being sick.
Yeah. And why it is true that most people believe that asthma is non-curable disease, yet there are several measures that can be taken that will mitigate its prevalence, right? It will curtail, it will bring it down at a very low level. It will, but when you take care of yourself, right? When you, for example, you know what affects you, you know what you eat that will trigger the asthma in you, and tomorrow you say, I'm not eating that again, right? And then you stop. So that'll be important. But most patients that have asthma, they use inhalers and they give them some other stuff, medication that they use. So it's important to be aware of those facts so that people don't again sit and wait. So just be aware of what are those things that trigger your asthma in you, right? What are those things? What did you smell today? You know, some people, they don't even use spray or cologne, right? I know someone who doesn't use spray because he's asthmatic patient, and so he's afraid when he uses that. So anything like raw acid, but how you manage it, right? So it's challenging with them, and so like he's sensitive to those, so he knows what trigger his asthma in him, and so he manages it in that way. And even though it's
It
become
becomes like it becomes part of your life. Like if you do the right things, it becomes part of your life. It's like you said, it's nowhere to eliminate it entirely, but you could mitigate the effects of it on you. Like I said, air purifiers is a big deal, and they come a long way with them. Like they're great air purifiers now, and that might help decrease the reaction to dust. Even cleaning products, like certain chemicals in cleaning products trigger asthma. So if you know that, then you get cleaner cleaning products. Like you know what I mean? Like those like Method and stuff. There's clean products. There's products made from clean materials.
Like I said, just know your triggers, because like we've been discussing dust and all that, but even food, yes, food triggers asthma too. So like for some people it will be eggs, some people it will be peanuts, tree nuts, shellfish, wheat, even milk. Those are all triggers. So you just have to know exactly what your trigger is, or what those triggers are, so that you can know what to do, what not to do, and just stay safe, because I mean it's such a long road.
And like Pastor Daniel say in every episode, it is more expensive to be sick than to prevent being sick. Take your time away from you. This discussion has been great. Do you guys have the list where we could read out where people could go and get, for example, information about vaccines, the centers and stuff you can go to?
Kara, you want to share that?
Yeah, I'm not with my laptop right now. I cannot access the links.
I'm so sorry.
So basically, the first and foremost, maybe reliable areas we can share with you is first your primary care physician. To get all the vaccines, CVS in your local community, wherever you are, Rite Aid, Walgreens, other local pharmacists, your healthcare provider.
And like we discussed last week, most of those pharmacies give vaccines for free.
For free, that's right, like CVS in particular. And one of the things, in fact, that CVS that I see they do, they have a little mini booth in somewhere there
your
for
blood pressure
confidentiality, right? So they don't give it in the open. So you can also rest assured that it's going to be done confidentially, that, they're not just exposing you out there. So you don't have anything to worry or fear. You're gonna go there. They have somewhere. They have a booth, and then they have curtain around it, and then you can get in there. I remember when I took my COVID vaccine at the time, so I went in that booth, and then so when if I went to take maybe grab something to see or take medication, and then you'll see the booth is still there, right? So they have a privacy area there, because that's one concern that other people may have. Or CVS might be open, I don't have privacy. There is privacy there and so forth, right? So except now, so let me share a joke with you. The only thing is I'm not a friend of the needle, right? So I was there, and then they took the needle. I wanted the pharmacist, and I said, I'm going to fight you because I hate needle, right? So like I'm there screaming. Oh, what a place. Okay, so but it's important to understand that there is privacy there, and you got nothing to worry or fear. You can get there, and some of those things they are free, maybe little nothing at all.
And if you're like Pastor Daniel and you fear that needle, think about it this way. Is it going to hurt? That second it's going to hurt. Is that worse than being sick for 3-4 days?
Right, that's the point. That's the point.
You gotta wait.
You gotta wait. Should I be able to? Should I be able the 10-second break, and then be?
And like you said, you gotta know your triggers. If you know one of your triggers is that needle, don't look. Just be like, don't even tell me when you stick me. So there's ways to get around that. As for the asthma we spoke about, like you said, you gotta know your triggers, and a lot of them is trial and error, unfortunately, because there's it's not like a car you can diagnose and plug it in and go, your triggers is this, and that, and that. It's a lot of trial and error, and understand that the asthma community, like what I'm reading now, I didn't know this before the show. It's such a large community. You have help. There's so much information out there on it. No matter what we speak about in these discussions, you have, whether we give you the resources or not, you have this little phone that we are on 24/7. And if you have a kid and they have a phone, you could barely pull that from their hand. Let them use it to research as well, to look up what we got to do. If we're going to be on it playing games and stuff like that, we might as well use it to improve our health and our life. So you could Google information on where to get free information about vaccines, especially COVID still exists, people. We got to put that out there. Vaccines, prevention. We've spoken a couple of shows ago about, making sure you have the right, the correct equipment to deal with winter, such as, smoke alarms, stuff like that. Like just there's resources out there. Look it up. There's so much resources.
That's right. So many resources are out there. Community-based organizations are out there that can help you, point you to the right resource, or point you, let's say you are new in the community, don't be afraid, and you can reach out. You can reach out us. For example, you can call Rising Up for Change, 267-969-8729 with information. You can email us directly at info@rhfc.info to get information. And you can also visit us at our offices, 3 Chester Pike, Derby, PA 19023. You can also visit us at our office in Philadelphia, 1628 South 58th Street, 19143. If we cannot help you, we will direct you to the rightful area. And so while something I wanted to maybe go a little bit outside of this to make sure also I share with the health hazards that we also need to talk about at some point. In this winter, prepare. I think this week there's a likelihood that there might be a light snow. So prepare, make sure that you have your snow salt, right? You stay in winter, it's not done yet. All the way March 19 before winter fades away.
No, winter is almost over. Like it's done.
March 19. Okay. So get your snow salt. Get your shovel. Make sure you are always prepared. Make sure you are not short of food or water in your home. Make sure you know the level your thermostat is in the house, so you don't leave it all the way up and then everyone is suffocating with the heat. So make sure you take care of these cosmetic things that help to build up you. All right. Especially when you have little children and you carry your heat up so high, and then because you just came in the house and then you want the house to be hot right away, and then it takes time. So don't forget, you go to bed and sleep, and then the heat is on, everybody's sleeping, and then they're suffocating. So let's take note of all of this. Get prepared, prepare yourself. They will all help you to stay healthy, and also make sure that you don't keep you keep the places that you have all your utilities clear, free of any cluster of maybe papers or debt or so forth, so that no fire, you can prevent any fire outbreak and so forth. So do your utmost best to be safe in this winter with your family, right? With your family. That's the best thing, because the safer you stay, the better you go out, come home, you are able to look for money, take care of your family, have fun, have vacation, have time. Stay healthy during this winter.
And guys, with that, our hour is up. Our hour is up.
Thank you so much for having us again. Island Vibe, we appreciate the time. We're looking forward to meeting you. And thank you to all of your audience for giving us your listening ears. Thank you for being there. We thank you.
Well, guys, we're going to say good night. I'm Storm Wilson, alongside Reverend Daniel and Miss Kebe. It took me a while to get her name pronounced. I hope I'm saying the right thing, because I've been saying it all show.
You do.
On track right now.
Thank you.
She's taking you all the way to Liberia now.
Liberia.
Yeah.
Miss Kebe. I love that name. My son's name is Zama, and I have to get a name from that part of the world, like Kebe.
Thank you.
Like, you know that princess name, like Princess Kebe. Again, guys, this is Island Vibes Radio alongside Reverend Daniel and Miss Kebe. Thank you so much for joining us for Community Health. This has been a great show. We'll see you guys next week at 7 p.m.
Thank you.
Bye.
Broadcasting live from Philadelphia, Island Vibe, Philly's newest and hottest station.
You're listening to IslandVibes.net. All your hits banging right here. Philly #1 Caribbean station. Best in dance-off.
Call the Uber. Call the Uber now. I am coming to ya.
Reggaeton.
Algunos parecen todavía viven en el siglo de la hombría, que esta regla es solo para ellos y que para tu hombre te maquilla.
Johnny Soca.
Love in my heart, rum in my veins. I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again. I so love my rum.